Hi, my name's James Phillips. I'm going to talk to you today about the different functions of a synthesizer. And you can see here I've dragged in Analog, which is a basic synth in Ableton Live. I'm not very familiar with it, but I'll try and show you how it works. I've just turned off the second oscillator, so I'm just going to make just the basic oscillator sound, so we can start with a basic oscillator. And we can start there. I can explain a bit about that, and then we can move on. I'm just getting rid of the different functions of the envelope generator for the amplifier, just so that we can have a basic sustaining sound and we don't have anything else affecting how it sounds. So I just want to make it only have sustain, and the attack, decay, and release I want to set to 0. As you can hear now, we've just getting the release down. As you can see there, we've got just a square waveform. Now it's a sine wave. It's a very basic form. Then you've got a saw wave or sawtooth, square wave, and then white noise. White noise is just a mixture of every single frequency. So I'm just going to focus on the square wave today. Something going on with the LFO or with the pulse width, so I'm just going to fix that up. It's all fixed up now, and I'll just show you a bit about the different tuning and what the different tuning is. So as you can see, just to the right of my mouse there, you've got the octave, semi and detune knob. Now the octave, each time you turn that down or up, increases the synth by an octave, and then the semi increases that by a semitone. So there's 12 semitones in an octave, so if you go all the way to the right to 12, that's the same as going to 1 on the octave knob, as you can now about to hear. So basically the oscillator is where the sound originates. It's what creates the sound of a synth, and it's what you use to, as your starting source for a sound. The next part is the filter, and this is how you can change the cutoff and the frequency of the sound and what you hear, and also the resonance. So you can change the timbre quite easily with a filter. And that's what you use to either make the sound more dull or more bright, or if you're looking to create a horn sound or a string sound, or that's what you can use in combination with the oscillator. So there's quite a few different types of filters: low pass, high pass, notch, band pass. And as you can hear now, I'm just changing the resonance and the frequency. So for a low pass filter, as we have set up here, the frequency is the level at which it cuts off or rolls off the sound higher than the frequency that we select. So you can see 2.2 kilohertz is what's selected. So frequencies above that are rolled off at 24 decibels per octave. Next is the amp. This is attack, decay, sustain, release. So I've just increased the release, and as you can hear, when you press down a note, the release, when you let go of holding that note, then the release is activated. So it's activated from a note off, whereas the attack is now increase the attack, and you can hear that increasing sound until it gets to the full amplitude. You can also do similar things for the filter, but I'm not going to go into that today because I don't have the time. This is how you create really percussive sounds, or more percussive sounds, as you can decrease all the values of the amplifier, and just have just have a very small decay. Change it to white noise, so I can create hi-hat and snare sounds like as you hear on the old analog drum machines like 808 and 909s. If I change to a square wave, I can create a kick sound, which I'll show you in a minute. So you also need to change up the tuning a bit. So you want the tuning to kind of increase, and so it creates that thump that you get when a kick drum or the pedal hits the kick. And then also decrease the frequency so you're not getting so much of the high frequencies coming through. And then you can tune your kick drum to the pitch of your song. Just increasing the release a bit to get it to kind of release a little bit more, like a real kick drum, a bit more like a thumping kick. Alright, I'll just put everything back to normal now so we can move on to the LFO and what that does. So we'll just go back to a pretty basic sustaining sound so you can hear the effects of the LFO. So the low frequency oscillator is basically an oscillator that modulates at a very low frequency, sometimes less than the frequency that the human ear can hear. And you can send this to different sources around the synth. I guess you can send it to the filter, to the pitch, or to the amplifier. So it either affects the level of the sound coming out, the loudness, it either affects the frequency or the resonance, or you can send it to the pitch, so it kind of becomes a bit like a vibrato. So I'm just changing the LFO here. You can also have an LFO on your square wave. So you've got a pulse width. The pulse width is the length of the square, and you can modulate the pulse width to create quite interesting sounds. So as you can hear now, increasing the rate, you get more modulation. And I'm just turning on the other oscillator. You can hear the interesting sounds you can create using LFOs. So yeah, thanks for your time. I'm glad you enjoyed the video.